This is Company D, Industry 36. We're the shoe company. I'm Barrett Newman,
I'm Addison Samansky, and then Carter and
and
Aaron Hudson couldn't be here today.
yeah, so it's
So,
just us two doing it.
yes.
So here's a look over our agenda real quick. Got a couple items today that we're here to talk about. And first is our original strategy. We originally tried to go for more of a low cost focus. We were trying to boost our market share through giving affordable shoes at a high volume, trying to sell as many as we can. We thought that would be best by reducing our S&Q rate, which keeps production costs low and budget friendly to all our consumers. And with all our extra space and production that we had, we tried to leverage our private label abilities by making more private label shoes with whatever production capabilities we had left over. And our end goal was to increase our market share, have more people know our name, and know more about us.
To the next. Oh, okay. So when we were figuring out how we wanted to accomplish our strategy, so we looked at some functions that we wanted to align with our strategy to help us complete this. So first, we mainly focused on our production. We wanted to be producing a very high volume of shoes so that we could support our low cost goals. And then next, we also wanted to focus on our lower pricing just so we could attract more consumers and align this with our cost leadership strategy. And then next, we also focused on our S&Q investment. So we limited our early investment so that we could keep our margins low. And we also focused on our private label usage. So we use this to fill a lot of our capacity and stabilize our revenue throughout the years, just so we could continue to keep the strategy going and um, just be stable in our strategy. And then we also use a market approach. We focus on our volume growth over our premium branding. So mainly we just focus on producing a lot of shoes and selling those shoes instead of, focusing on quality and branding that way.
All right, so our actual strategy, it sort of progressed over the course of the entire BSG. Our original low cost, we had to transition out of that and we shifted to a more premium differentiation, like think more Lululemon. We increased our S&Q and product quality, making our products better and more reliable for the consumer and to meet demands with what a customer really wants in a shoe. And to stay profitable, we had to raise our prices to offset the higher production expenses. The S&Q increasing raised our prices a fair bit so we can stay profitable. And overall, we kept the core part of our strategy of trying to boost our market share, let people know who we are. And I'd say we successfully did that over the course of the 10 years. We saw growth from 5% to 10% across all regions. And the reason we had to implement this strategy change is because of year 13, we saw a lot of setbacks. All of our performance in every metric had dropped drastically, and we realized we needed a change to recover. And we did all this to improve our long-term performance. We've adjusted our strategy to better balance the cost efficiency and product quality, and we have seen nothing but upward trends since then.
So over the course of all of the years, this is just an overview of our performance. So here you can see our net revenues, and then also our internet and wholesale revenues, and then our credit ratings. So as you can see in this, we did drop the lowest that out of any year during year 13, which that also seemed that was a tough year for everyone, but we definitely felt it. But since then, we have had strong increases in revenue. So you can see we had a strong upward trend since year 13, and we were at our highest in year 20. So we were happy with how we ended in our revenues. For our market share, as you can see, we also focus on our market share. We wanted to increase that throughout all of the years, so that increased 5 to 10% across each region, like we had said before. And then for our sales growth, we expanded in both our wholesale and our internet channels, which you can also see on the graph. We did have a little bit of a dip after year 17 in our wholesale, and then we had a little bit of a dip after year 19 in the internet. Um, so we were a little bit lower in year 20 than we would have wanted to be, but that's okay. And then for our for our credit rating, as you can also see, we were the highest that we were throughout the years in year 20, which we were very happy with. Given that we did drop pretty low to a C minus rating in year 13, we eventually got up to an A plus. So overall, you can see that we improved our financial stability and revenues a lot throughout the years, especially since year 13, and that put us at a good spot ending in year 20.
All right, for competitive dynamics and strategy impact, the competition within the industry requires continuous adaptation. Uh, Things are always changing. Companies are always finding new ideas on how to capitalize, and so do we. Our low cost strategy, we noticed, had become less effective over time, and we knew we needed a change. And the market overall saw a shift to higher S&Q rates and improved competitive positioning. Competitor pressure influenced pricing and quality decisions. Everyone was raising their rates, trying to see who's the best and who can come out on top. And our strategic adjustments led to stronger long-term performances. We saw drastic increases from year 14 onwards.
So for our future strategy, we would like to focus on a lot of our same prerogatives that were in our first strategy and our updated strategy. So we wanted to continue to focus on our higher S&Q and our premium positioning compared to other brands. But it also seems that a lot of the other brands kind of had similar strategies to us, and they also focused on this. So we would just need to make our strategy regarding our S&Q better in the future. And then we also want to optimize our price to value relationship, which is also another thing other brands are doing. Obviously, you want to give customers the most value that you can. So that's something that we would really like to focus on in the future. We also want to expand our internet sales channel growth. Like we said, our internet was a little bit lower than our wholesale, but in the future, we would definitely focus on that since that's a lot of revenue that we could be getting, but are not. And then we also want to excuse me, use our private label strategically and not heavily. So we don't really want to focus on our branding that much. And then also we want to improve our cost efficiency while maintaining quality. So like we said, we want to optimize value, and that's the best way to do that. We want to give all of our consumers the best bang for their buck and also keep our quality high so that they'll keep coming back.
All right, some lessons we learned throughout this whole experience is that a pure low cost strategy is not sustainable over the long term. We ran into a lot of issues with that up front. We saw a lot of high trends in the beginning and then very drastic dips afterwards and realized we needed to readjust. And another thing we realized is there's a balance between cost and quality and how important that is and how many consumers would rather pay for quality rather than something they can get in a high volume, especially in the footwear industry. And it's very important to also adapt to competition, to see what others are doing and make sure you don't fall behind, or if you do pay attention correctly, you can help get ahead of them. And overcorrections can cause big performance drops. We experienced that in year 13, trying to go full all the way into this high volume, low cost, and we realized that that's not where the market was going and that we needed to adjust. And finally, our strategic flexibility that can lead to long-term success. And we realized that firsthand with our big change strategy that we implemented.
So overall, what we took away as managers of the company, we definitely learned that we have to align all decisions with our strategy because obviously your strategy is not going to work if you're not making decisions to make it work. So we kind of, when we saw that some decisions weren't really aligning with what we wanted to do, we learned to change those decisions for the next year and maybe even reverse some things if we didn't feel that they were working. So next, we also learned that it's really important to do or to align all of your decisions with data that you have. That was very important for our performance, and I think we all learned that in the end. We really, we all basically tried to look at what was going to optimize our revenues the most and our ROE, also our credit ratings for the upcoming year. So we decided to take a good look at data when making our decisions. We also learned to avoid short-term thinking. Obviously, this entire project was it was most important what happened in the long run. So we all just tried to avoid things that were going to be quick fixes because they could come back to bite you in the year after. We also made sure to monitor our key metrics continuously. As I said, we reviewed our data a lot, pretty much in every stage of the decision-making process, because that was the most important thing that we could have to see how we would be doing in the next year. Then we also just learned that sticking to our strategy, but also being flexible would lead to success. Like we said, we followed our strategy and we tried to align our decisions with that, but sometimes we had to be flexible and we had to change some things about our strategy if it wasn't working.
All right. Thank you for coming to our presentation. You've been a lovely audience.
Thank you.